Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. Tonight we're going to be joined with Bryan Jones. Bryan Jones actually won the championship and Super Pro at Gainesville Raceway and South Georgia Motorsports Park. And then at the divisional finals, he was able to capitalize on the Race of Champions and walk away with a Wally. But before we dive in, we have to pay our bills first. So bear with us and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
60 years of innovation, 60 years of attention to detail, 60 years of rigorous testing under race conditions is what makes ATI Performance Products great. ATI has been helping racers like you reach the finish line first. Today, we manufacture a wide range of high-performance parts that are track-tested and race-proven. We're passionate about performance, and that passion is what drives you to the finish line first. See everything ATI has to offer at ATIRacing.com.
Hey, Bryan, I want to thank you for joining us tonight here on the Spot Motorsports Media to talk about your 2024 season in Super Pro. And you're also a business owner. We want to dive into a little bit about that and talk about the products that you sell. But first, congratulations on getting the Race of Champions Wally at South Georgia Motorsports Park during the NHRA Division II finals.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Bryan, for being able to come on tonight. As we're all Floridians, we all know what's going on weather-wise, and it's, even though I'm in Jacksonville, Bryan's in Orange Park, not too far, and Mitchell's in Stark, we still got a lot of buddies in the Tampa area, all the way out in the Panhandle. So we just pray for their safety during this. So. If mine starts cutting out, it's weather. So everybody just hang on. We'll be back. But Bryan, honestly, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on here and talk to us and share about your great season. I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I mean, really just
Champ.
had a flyby. But no, I mean, I've been, I guess, just starting back. I've been racing since I was in junior dragsters. I started at 12 years old, at Gainesville Raceway. I was actually the 1993 track champion in Gainesville, I think,
Really?
in junior dragsters. So back when they actually had rental cars back then. You could go, and I think it was $25 a day to rent the car and race. And that's kind of where we got hooked. And, a year or so later, we, got our own car. Jimmy Montgomery there out of Gainesville actually built my two junior dragsters. He built both of them.
Really?
When we kept racing, kept going. And once I turned 16, we went into big cars and just kind of kept at it for a long time. Back around 2012, we kind of stepped out for a little while, building the business, kind of got more into it than we could try to, build the business and race. So we stepped away for a few years, but once we came back in, we kind of started up again and got a junior dragster, and then my dad got a Camaro, and now we got more stuff than we had before we ever quit.
That makes sense. That's a good thing, right? I mean,
absolutely.
To be able to race there with the family, so that's good to hear. I mean, I did not realize that Jimmy built your juniors. I had no idea that Jimmy did that before. So
I didn't. When you asked for photos earlier, I didn't think about it. But let me see if I can find one here real quick. I can send it to Mitchell. But
yeah,
wrong button.
that'd be cool. Did you have a name on it, Junior?
It was actually just Flying Brian.
Okay.
So
the name
just
so the name was
that's where it all started.
So okay, so I was wondering, and Mitchell and I were talking before. I wonder where that name came from. You know what I mean? If it just kind of came about, or family, or friends, but I guess it started at a young age, didn't it?
Yeah, it that was just kind of what we came up with, stuck on the car, and by the time we'd been racing a while, that's just how folks tend to know me. So that's kind of where we just kind of stuck with it.
It does roll off the tongue. That's true. Now did your father race, and did you grow up racing?
Honestly, for the first, I don't know, say 10 or 11 years of my life, he kept trying. He grew up around cars, but never actually raced. He had some friends that circle track raced and did some other things, and he was kind of helped out with them and was part of it at times. But once he always wanted me to do something motorsports related, but we just never really found something that I was into at the time. But once the junior dragsters came around, and once we raced those one time, we were kind of stuck for life.
So you've always been a dragster driver, I take it.
I've driven a door car a few times, but it's been the vast majority in dragsters.
Okay, you just like going quick from the get go. So I get it. But I tell you, tell us about your season, because you had there. Look at the man. There he is. And ladies and gentlemen, they both won. Okay, he's won in juniors, and Brian's won in Super Pro.
That was actually last year's Race of Champions winner.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, so okay. So he went last year and did the speech, right?
Oh yes, the big speech at the division banquet.
Okay, so he gets to go with you again this year to do it. So okay, that's cool. That's really good. That memory is going to stick forever. So that's good to hear. But like Mitchell was talking to you before, tell us about your season, your phenomenal season of being able to win not only one track championship, but two in the same year. So tell us about it.
I mean, really, it really didn't start as anything magical. We just started racing, and the car I've got it was just the second year on this car, and I guess the combination just started coming around, and as we started to race more and more, the car kind of got dialed in, and I started getting along with the car a little better, and we as that started to happen, I started doubling in Gainesville, just honestly just to make more passes. I think I honestly it started because I had planned with the first race I doubled. I honestly had not planned on doubling. I just went in there, and I think I messed up on the time run, and I got so frustrated I went and bought another tech card. And I said we're going to go make another shot at this. I'm not leaving that as our only shot for the morning. And so once I came back around, we just started doubling, and win a few rounds here, a few rounds there. I was like, well, the car can keep up. I can keep up. It's not so bad. So we just kept at it, and the I guess the more passes we made, the more things started to fall in line. I mean, there were certainly not every race was a vast success, but overall, as the season goes, and what we've been able to do this year has certainly been a record year for me. It was the first time I've been a track champion before, but certainly never done two at one time. This was the first year that, as doubling in Gainesville back in June, I was actually able to run myself in the final for the first time.
Yeah,
that was certainly a memorable day.
Yeah. Mitchell, you're saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that was pretty neat right there to have to go up there and just take the beams and bump in and be the winner and the runner up at the same time. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that night we made it to the ladder round, and Chad Kennedy came by and said, "Hey, no pressure, but you're on opposite sides of the ladder." So it's like, well, I guess let's see what we can do here.
Right. I can see Chad Yeah, I can see Chad coming up and saying that just nonchalantly. Don't mean to jinx anything, but hey, but and I'll say this jokingly: did you split with yourself in the final?
Honestly, I was so worn out by that night, I really didn't care where it went.
Exactly. I've often
And,
wondered how that works. I mean, do you get both winner and runner up, or do you not get runner up because you couldn't take the beam with the second entry? I don't know. I've never been there, so I don't have to worry about. That's first world problems. So don't have to worry about none of that. But yeah. Now we have followed you for years, and you've been racing for a lot of years now. You run. Not only do you run Super Pro, but you run Super Comp, and I think you run some Top Dragster also. Is that true?
In the past, I ran Woodwee bracket raced and ran Super Comp, and then over the last with this new car, I've never Super Comped it, but we have ran Top Dragster at a few events. Actually, runnered up the division racing a lot last year in Top Dragster.
Really?
Just got to the final and just got a little excited and kicked it red. But it was a fun day. I'm certainly one of the slower top dragsters, so you're definitely just you're out there making time runs. Had to run Lauren McMaster going 232 miles an hour or whatever. I was certainly, she had 50 something miles an hour on me. So there's no driving that at the stripe.
So now you know what us sportsman guys running against pro guys and stuff like that feel like. I mean, it's not exactly 50 miles an hour, but it's a pretty substantial difference.
So you don't even see her go by. It's just there's nothing beside you, and then there's parachutes in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. You just feel the paint being moved from one side of your car to the other, and that's about it. And but I mean, I'm sure it's something similar between them. But but what's your current chassis and engine setup in your car? And because I think you run a Tony Morris carburetor on it. But
I do run a Tony Morris carburetor.
Okay.
Couldn't be happier with that. It's been, it's certainly a major combination or a major part of the overall combination.
Mm-hmm.
The chassis itself is a 2022 Mullis. For those, that not overly familiar with Mullis, it is the new Mullis.
Okay.
So it's out. They're actually built out of North Dakota now. Where in the past Brian Forrester, owned them out of Bradenton.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still have an original Mullis also. I still have the blue car that we raced for years.
Okay.
It's just at the shop as a roller right now. But this one was built out of the shop up in North Dakota from Glenn Gordon. It's been a phenomenal piece. I mean, I bought the car. Honestly, the first time I ever saw it and sat in it was the day we picked it up. It was I was able to find Chad's commenting here. But I was able to basically we had found a crack in the chassis on the old car. And at that time, we just decided we weren't sure how bad it was going to be. Weren't sure if we were going to need to back half it or if it could be fixed. Really didn't know where we stood. And that car's a 99. It's been around. It's had a lot of runs. So we just decided to park it for the moment. And I was able to get my hands on this car. Really effectively was able to special order a car and get it within about a month and a half, which was unheard of at the time. It was, most of the chassis builders were a year out, and it was truly just luck of the draw. It wasn't that they didn't have a line. I was just able to find a car that somebody was willing to let go, as it was, 85% built.
Gotcha.
So I was able to change powder coat colors, get it wired, put everything in it I wanted it to be, and effectively build it exactly what I wanted, but get it done in 45 days instead of a year.
Wow.
So it was just truly luck, in that respect, and was able to get it put together, and we ran it for the first year. And you asked about engine combination. Engine combination is a 622 all aluminum SR20 engine from Par Engines.
Okay.
So between and then we got an FTI transmission and converter. So between Par, FTI, Mullis, and Tony Morris, it's a machine that I'm sometimes not worthy of driving. I promise you, if it when that car loses around, there's a 99% chance it was the driver doing it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the past, looking at your runs and your dial-ins that they put up on the board. Man, it is a very consistent running dragster.
So it really is. I mean, there's this. It's almost crazy how consistent it is. I mean, and that's really just a testament to how good of parts that we have now that we didn't have in the '90s. When we started doing, at least when I started doing this. Back then, if you could run within a couple hundredths of your dial-in, you were dead on. A 30 or 40 light, and a couple hundredths above, and we were going to the next round. Now if you're 15 total, you might get to slide by.
Right. Yeah. No, that's some truth right there. I mean, it's nasty. You get around the foot brake guys and then the bottom bulb guys, but you get around your top bulb guys, and it's like going, goodness sakes, man, that's just it's just ugly. I mean, just how tight of runs that they make in those classes, whether it's dragsters or door cars. I mean, the competition is there. So that just goes to show. Good.
Even in the junior dragsters. I mean, I remember one
Right.
race earlier this year. Blake was, I think you're obviously 10 years old foot braking a junior dragster. He was like 25, one above, and he was wasting gas. I mean, his opponent was, I think, 0-1 and one above one. So he's 12, 12 total with his eyes closed. So it's just there, every class is tough.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I mean, it goes all the way down to the bikes and everything. So that's what makes it great. That's what makes us keep coming back and wanting to do it again. That competition, that thrill. So, okay, so you got a PAR engine. Scott and all them built that. So you got an FTI combination in the back. You got a Mullis built chassis. And then Tony's carburetor on the top. That is about a most consistent recipe for winning of a car that I can hear here recently. I mean, that is all top quality pieces. So, how did you get hooked up with Mullis originally?
Honestly, being that I had a Mullis for basically 20 years, I started looking when it came time, honestly, when I first started looking, I started looking a year and a half or so before we decided to actually do anything. And Mullis really wasn't, available at that time. So I started looking at other cars. I had contacted American, and they were, American cars are great, but they were over a year out at the time, and I just really wasn't in a situation where I wanted to wait a year on a car. I sat in a friend's race tech, and it just didn't. I don't know. They're amazing cars. They're beautiful cars, but it just didn't feel like home. When you sat in it, it just didn't feel like home. I'd been in a Mullis so long, and the guy that I mean, a lot of racers are going to know a guy by the name of Chad Axford. He buys and sells a lot of dragsters, and I was actually sitting at lunch one day with Blake at a restaurant. We were just eating lunch on a Sunday, and I sent him a text message on Facebook. I'd never even met him before. I just said, hey, he had a Mullis for sale, a previous Mullis about a week earlier, but it wasn't the combination I was looking for. It was a 250-inch dual chute top dragster, extra length for Pro Charger. It just wasn't the combination I was looking for.
Right.
I said, hey, do you by chance have any more Mullis cars coming? And that's what he said. Yeah, I said, I got one that's about 2 weeks out. And so then that was at about, I'd say probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And by about 8 or 9 o'clock that night, we had a car in the works. And it was, I mean, even, I know he may or may never see this, but Chad was certainly great to deal with, as kind of the intermediary between us and Mullis. But I found out he had a Mullis, and when everything he said he would do was absolutely done in a class act way. And when we actually met in the parking lot at Summit in McDonough. The car was built in North Dakota. It was wired I think it was wired in Kentucky. And then he brought it from his shop, and I kept bugging him, so because I just, at the time, we were so busy at work, I really wasn't sure about how I was going to get 2 days off to drive to Kentucky and back to get the car. So I convinced him to meet me in McDonough. So we drove up to Summit, pulled two trailers beside each other in the parking lot and, rolled it out of one, rolled it into another. And that was honestly when I sat in it for the first time, and, amazingly enough, 22 years later, from Mullis to Mullis, I sat in it and it felt like home.
Hmm.
Everything just felt just like I was in the old car, and that's what I was hoping for. And so then we shut the door on the trailer, went into Summit, and bought a bunch of stuff to start putting a race car together.
And I tell you, when you're getting into something that's quick, it's very important that the driver sitting in that cockpit is as comfortable as possible. Because if there's anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, you're going to be thinking about that particular thing every time that you go up there and stage the car. So I see where you're coming from, that you wanted something that made you feel comfortable. You was used to their chassis, and nothing's really changed with the cockpit of the dragster.
Right. It was this one's got a little bit wider cage on it than before, but other than that, it's pretty much an exact an exact copy 20 years later. And I mean, overall chassis, it's not exact, but as far as how it felt, it was what I was looking for.
Yeah, the place.
I knew the old car was comfortable. I knew it was comfortable to me. I knew how it drove, how it sat, and I was just hoping that, buying something obviously sight unseen, never driven it, as basically a wired roller. I mean, no motor, no transmission, no plumbing, it was just roll it in the trailer and let's go home and put it together. So I, sat in it and was like, well, this feels like, this feels more or less like I thought it would. So, let's go put it together. So after about 2 weeks of, 3 a.m. nights, it was put together.
Three nights? Did you say three
No,
nights?
about 2 weeks of going till about 3 a.m.
Okay. Sorry, I heard the opposite. I was like going, wait a minute, what? Said you're busted. How many people you got working with you to put it together in 3 days? Jeez. I was like going, that sounds crazy. But okay. Well, Mitchell.
Yeah, I want to ask you. I know that running both racers out of Gainesville and South Georgia. Which competitors out there really makes you want to get up on the wheel and be successful against them? I know that Brandon George, he finished second in points at Gainesville. He was a little bit behind you. I think after the drops, you had 595 points, and I think Brandon was sitting at 540. And then if you look over at Super Pro up at South Georgia Motorsports Park, which they didn't get as many races in than what we do at Gainesville, but you ended up with 284 points and was able to hold off Gavin Hamby to win that championship.
So, yeah, I mean, both racetracks, there is a ton of tough racers. I mean, at this stage of the game, you don't take anybody lightly. Years ago, there may have been pulling the lanes and, oh, good, we rolled up beside that guy because, I think we got a good shot here. But I don't take anybody for granted now. I mean, if I roll up on them, I'm planning on them trying to tear my head off because that's usually what they're about to try to do. Whether, obviously as a racer, sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't, sometimes we get it, sometimes we miss it, but overall the goal is to turn the wind light on, and that's certainly what every person beside you is trying to do. So, I don't roll up and and take anybody lightly.
Right. And I tell you, you're absolutely right. I mean, Gainesville's got some excellent racers out there in all the classes. And yeah, it's hard to find a duck out there to run now. Everybody's very competitive. It was just like race 5 or 6 out there at Gainesville. Just in the sportsman class, I hit a 002, and I'm like, hey, I think I got the bye run first round. There was 7 or 8 00s during that time run, and I did not get the bye. Someone was 001.
Oh,
That was
sure.
001 to 008. I mean, it was unreal. That's just how competitive it is. And you look at the other classes, like over in Super Pro and Pro, y'all are dealing the same way. Junior dragsters and over on the bikes. I mean,
Yep.
everybody's, like you said, they're out there on set on kill.
No, that they absolutely are. It's there's really, I mean, while there are racers that there's always going to be racers that you consistently see in the late rounds, and and then sometimes and then there's obviously the late rounds can change up, but there's usually out of the 100 racers, there's usually a handful of folks that you're not surprised to see late in the rounds, but they're all tough. I mean, at any given moment, any one of them can you can lay you out and send you to the trailer.
I agree 100%.
That's true. But that's what makes it so good, right? Makes you keep coming.
Absolutely.
Now,
I know that we have some other races that are coming up out at Gainesville. We got the Night of Fire. We have also the Fall Brawl and the 352 Shootout. Are you planning on participating in any of those three races that are coming up? And don't forget the Mini Million that will also be out there at Gainesville.
Yes. Basically, the 352 shootout's the only one that I won't be a part of, because that's for those door car guys.
Right.
But everything else will be there.
Okay. Well, you got a door car, so
we do have one. But
you can run one of the quicker index classes or something. I mean, there is a class available for you. You might have to slow it down or speed it up, but I'm sure there is a class for you.
They'll have open comp.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see,
we'd have to do a little work on that car to make it fit some of those rules, but I guess we'll have to see what's on the schedule that weekend. But actually, I think that's actually the weekend of the 3-day bracket race in South Georgia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? Oh, I need to look at
they've got, I want to say it's a 10 and 220s.
Okay.
I believe that's the same weekend.
Wait a minute, that's not the Halloween Massacre one, is it?
Yeah, the Halloween Massacre is that one.
Yeah,
and I could be, and I don't have my calendar in front of me, so I could be mistaken that it's the same weekend. But I want to say I had heard someone mention that it was the same weekend. But
okay. Oh man. Well, speaking of the Mini Million and stuff like that, are you planning on participating in that?
Yes, we'll be at pretty much any event, pretty much any bracket race at Gainesville for the remainder of the year. We'll be there.
Okay, well that's good. So you started drag racing at a young age. You started with junior dragsters. You jumped right into a dragster, which I find that absolutely amazing. Okay, you've run top sportsman, top dragster, super comp, super pro, track champion, and then this year you won race of champions at South Georgia. So how was that for having an 8-car shootout? Or no, it's more than 8 cars. I'm sorry, but how was that for having a smaller, more concentrated shootout with the race of champions?
Race of Champions was great. I mean, honestly, there weren't as many cars as I expected there to be. There was actually only 7 cars first round.
Oh wow!
It's a very tough 7 cars, but only 7 cars.
Right.
But it was every one of those rounds was tough. I was fortunate enough to have, because there were 7 cars, I was fortunate enough to have the buy run first round. But after that was the only buy run of the race. After that, we had to earn it.
Well, that's true. That's what you're there to do, and you did. So I know you ran
by 1 thou.
Oh, it was that tight.
It was that tight.
I did not hear that. I just heard you won, and that's all I needed to hear. You know what I mean?
No, it was Jonathan, and Jonathan is a very tough racer. He's another one that you do not take lightly at all. Right. The final round, I was 6 on the tree, he was 7, and we were both 13 thou under. So it was 1 thou at the stripe.
Ooh, okay, that was a good race. And I say this very proud and slightly braggative. I know you ran for South Georgia this year, but since you were Super Pro champ at Gainesville, I'm going to say we adopted you in Super Pro, but for Race of Champions, Gainesville won, and I'm saying this, Super Pro, Pro with Phil Green, and Sportsman with Bart Pangillion, and also with the juniors. Okay. I can't remember, we 1 or 2 with the juniors. I can't remember. I lose track. But I mean, 4 to 5 Race of Champions came out of Gainesville Raceway this year. I mean, even though we didn't win the overall points, I still think it's very impressive. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that just speaks to how tough the competition is, there. I mean, Florida is not an easy state to race in. I don't care what racetrack you go to.
That's very, very true. It's very.
We had another flyby.
Yeah, I know. just a little. Like I said, we're going to get him on here one day and talk about it because he's been very successful. How many wins did he have this year?
This year, I believe it was. Let's see.
You're right, Raul. You're right. They're all step families, South Georgia, because Bart won track championship up there in sports.
Yes.
And I think Paul was, or Paul, help me out, Mitchell. I'm having a brain lock up here. Who won pro for us? Phil, excuse me. I think Phil was runner up in pro in South Georgia. So Raul, you're right. Yeah.
Chad's trying to pitch to him that bringing the junior dragsters up there for the Halloween race.
Wow.
What do you think? Yeah.
How many races you win this year, buddy?
3.
You won 3? Gee whiz. How about you, Brian? How many did you pull down this year?
It was actually with the Race of Champions, it was 5.
Okay, that is a very, very good household right there. And I know it's going to happen here pretty soon because I think you were mentioning that so far y'all have not won on the same night, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a future goal for both y'all. Clearly, that's
he's given me. This year he won 3. Last year I think he won 14. 14. So he's given me plenty of opportunities. I've just never held up my end, I think. But
wow. Okay. No, that surprised me. I didn't count that up before. It's like, wow, 14 wins in a single season in a junior. Gee whiz, that is unbelievable.
So, what is it like for you to be out there racing with your son, and and sharing that whole experience with him at the track?
Oh, I mean, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, a lot of a lot of parents get to their kids play, nothing against it, but they go play ball, they play soccer, they play baseball, they do whatever they do, and they're spectators. Sometimes they're coaches, but they're spectators, quite a bit, and where we get to go race as a whole family all together. I'm 1 minute I'm the racer, the next minute he's the racer, I'm the crew chief. But at the end of the day, it's also a family vacation, camping trip, on the weekend. We absolutely have a blast together, and I mean, heck, I could walk outside now and probably not find 3 neighbors I would talk to, but every weekend we get to see our traveling neighborhood,
Right.
at every racetrack we go to.
Yeah,
it
kind of makes you feel like it's your family away from home. That's the
Absolutely.
way I always put it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Hey, buddy, you try to slide in. Come on, or you can push Dad out. There you go. Come on, you can push him out. There you go.
There's why we do it.
That's very true. You see that's worth it right there.
If you really want motivation to win a race, drive back to the trailer with a 40 light and have to hand the time slip out of the car.
and your boy there can pick it apart.
Oh, absolutely.
He's sitting there going, "Is that the best you got, really?" And then he probably hands you his, got a 10 and one above on the brakes, something like that.
Well, since we got you on, what is your favorite part about running the junior dragsters?
Fast.
Like going
Like
fast.
going fast.
How old are you currently, buddy?
11.
You're 11. I can't remember it. What's the next step up on juniors? What age break?
13.
It's 13. So then what's the ET break once you step up?
790.
It is 790. Okay. Okay. So you're ready for that, right? Okay.
Do you think it's pretty neat that you'll when you go up and you're able to race in a 13-year-olds and up, that you're going to be out there running 790s, going faster than door cars? Some of the door cars in the 8th mile.
Does that sound exciting?
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed. I'm actually impressed you got him on here talking, because usually answering questions isn't his forte. He'll do plenty of talking, but when you actually throw out a real question, then he freezes up.
Because we're talking about something he enjoys. So he likes his racing and stuff like that. So tell me, buddy, what age did you get started?
7.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you started even younger than your father. So, okay. I don't know if y'all can hear that pounding. That's the wind at my place pushing stuff around outside. So if y'all see me ducking and diving, I'm grabbing something. So just never mind. And yeah, exactly.
Just want to let everybody know we're having a hurricane party tonight on the Spot Motorsports Media. So we're having our hurricane party tonight. But what professional drivers do you look up to as your heroes? What are some of your favorite NHRA drivers?
There you go. There you go.
You did. All right.
There you go. I wasn't trying to coach there, Brian, but hey, truth is truth. You know what I mean? So, what about you, Brian?
I mean, there's a number of them, and I don't honestly watch as much of the pros as I used to, just for truly lack of time. But I mean, obviously he's not able to continue right now. But growing up, I mean, John Force was always the guy. They don't do the big long burnouts anymore, but the big 8th mile burnouts and the fast talking at the end of the racetrack was always exciting. If I'm gonna the other one I've got to bring in, hopefully he'll see this one day, because truly he's probably one of the ones that we wouldn't be here without him either, is Steve Johnson. I met Steve Johnson when I was 11 years old, and I actually still have a picture of me and him together on my bike, on his bike, in 1991, at the Southern Nationals Atlanta. That was the first time I ever met him. And just a great guy, and kept up with him over the years. And there's nobody that worked harder in this industry than Steve Johnson. I mean, he's had plenty of downs, he's had some ups, and some very good ups when he had them. But there is truly, there's not a better ambassador for the sport, and there's not just nobody works harder. I mean, he is absolutely a machine.
Yeah, one of the good things I like about Steve Johnson is because he's always trying to give that back to the younger kids, and trying to instill values of them to get into the industry as technicians, not just as riders and drivers of the sport. Trying to show that other side of the industry, that we need people to be able to work on these motorcycles and on these cars. We need people who can weld. And I always like that about him. And he also presents 2 scholarships during, I want to say, is it the Pep Boys? He presents the Pep Boy Nationals. He presents scholarships to at least 2 people, and so he's always giving back and trying to create other opportunities to keep our sport moving forward. And the only way for it to move forward is to have those younger men and women to come in and take part of it.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Mitchell, I don't know if you can post it or not, but I just sent you a picture. I just once again, I wasn't thinking about these things or earlier, but as we get talking through them, I just happened to have that handy.
Would you send it to me in Messenger?
Yeah, I sent it to you in Messenger.
Okay. See if we can get it up there.
Well, in the meantime, Bryan, the fact that it's great that your son's able to be right there with you and the family, to be right there and racing. I can't help but notice the hardware that's over your shoulder, including the 2 track championships and the junior wins. And I imagine that's just the small shelf, right?
That is honestly that is predominantly Blake shelf.
Oh, really?
There are a few of them up there that are mine, but that is predominantly Blake shelf.
Wait a minute. So he's got a race of champions up there. I don't know what the other one is.
There's the 2 track champions are his. My previous track champion trophy is actually at work. But the 2 track champions are his. All the mini Wallies are his. There is there's one of the special event Wallies up there. And then a race of champions Wally up there. And then I'm not sure what was that one. Oh, that's from Bradenton, yeah. That he's showing his biggest trophy. That was his tallest one.
Jeez. Okay. So that answers that. So Blake, there you go. There's your display. That's how proud your father is of you, Blake. He's showing all your hardware here for everybody to see. So I think that's great.
So there's a couple of the Wallies up there. I do own a couple of them up there, and we've got a few more that are at work and around. But the Race of Champions and the Track Champion trophy are actually at the office.
Well, that leads into the next question. Okay, you spoke of work. You're the owner and presidente and CEO of Flying Bryan Trailer Sales, a very successful and trailer company here in Northeast Florida. But tell us, how in the world did you get into that?
So I mean, actually, racing is what got us into trailers. I think honestly, if you go back and look through a number of the trailer dealers out there, I think it all kind of started, along those ways. But back in the early 2000s, there was a friend of ours was racing top alcohol dragster by the name of Jason Cannon.
Okay.
At the time we were racing Super Comp. Jason was racing top alcohol, and his dad had a boat dealership called Caps Marine here in Middleburg, and they had started selling toter homes and trailers and things. And honestly, at the time, it was just kind of something my dad and I did together on the side, just kind of extra money to keep the racing going at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few years of doing that, Phil decided to get out of the business. Kind of got out of everything altogether. And once they did that, we were actually contacted initially by Hallmark. Said, hey, you guys were basically handling the territory anyway. What do you think about taking on the line? And so we started with a very small portion of the lot we're on now. Back in 2006, we started with about 12 race car trailers, and here we are 18 years later.
you make it, you're so humble about that. You're like, here we are,
And I tell you, I knew that you sell good products because my brother actually bought a trailer from you when my nephew was running quarter midgets down in New Smyrna. They had to have a way to get four of those quarter midgets down there every other weekend to race. And believe it or not, he turned around and sold that trailer for almost the same price that he bought it for. So it just goes to show you how well your trailers are put together that y'all sell at FB Trailers.
We truly have. I mean, the trailer the industry of trailer dealers is can be an interesting group. I mean, there's many facets and many ways that folks go about it. There are the dealers that only sell total high end stuff that we don't carry. But then there's also, a lot of dealers that carry, every day, basically they try to sell the cheap stuff, and only the cheap stuff. They try to win on price and price alone. We try to run the middle ground. We weeded through the products and we carry the products that we're comfortable selling on a daily basis that, you know, while nothing is perfect and, no trailer manufacturer has ever truly built a perfect trailer, we try to carry the ones that support us day in and day out. That we know that we can sell and, and are going to have good success with. So we carry a lot. We carry Continental Cargo Mate, which is kind of our bread and butter as far as race car trailers go. They're very great trailers. It's a high quality unit at a reasonable price. Um, and I know some folks just heard me say reasonable price and they're thinking that trailers aren't reasonable anymore. But if we compare them to the day and time, of the scale and the amount of trailers that there are out there, they still are reasonable for what they are. Um, but then when we want to for those folks that want to step into the higher end units, we do carry ATC and Sundowner as well, which are, high end all aluminum pieces that, can either be lighter weight or heavier duty. Um, you know, big builds. So we can help, basically we can help basically any racer do what they want to do and get where they need to go. But then on top of that, for the rate, for the folks listening that, may or may not need a race car trailer, but we do open utility trailers. We do equipment trailers, dump trailers, heck, fiber optic trailers. I mean, there's any, pretty much anything except for boat trailers and semis, we handle. So if you're hauling, whether you're in construction, hauling equipment, landscaping, anything around it, and obviously race cars is what got us into it. And we still have a passion for race car trailers, but, at the end of the day, we help whoever comes through the door.
If someone wants to come there and look at a trailer and thinking about purchasing one, where are y'all located in Orange Park? What's
We're
y'all say?
located. Our address is 1076 Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park. For those familiar with the area, we're about a half a mile south of College Drive. Um, you know, for those not super familiar with the area, we're about 5.5 miles or so south of the 295 interstate
Right.
or bypass.
Gotcha. And you can't miss the place once you're traveling south on Blanding. You just start when you see the big selection of trailers on the right hand side going south, you found it. And yeah, it's not a small lot. It's a pretty big size lot. So Bryan, what's your phone number there?
The phone number is 904-371-9791.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So if anybody out there is looking for a trailer, no matter what it is, whether it's for their business or for their personal or a race car hauler, whatever it might be, or even parts or anything like that, give FB Trailer Sales a call. They can help you out for sure. Because we got a buddy, Greg Turner, who just he bought a brand new 28-foot from you and had it, I think, a couple years, and then he turned around and he just stepped up and he just traded that in or sold it. I can't remember which. And he's got like a 48-foot gooseneck with living quarters in it now. he stepped up big time, but he came to you for both of them because he was happy with the first one. So and he came there, and there you go. The rest is history.
And I tell you, some of the trailers that they're making today is just superb. I know that you bring a model out to the track at Gainesville and set it up for people to check it out, and just the storage spaces in there that you have, and the counter. You can fold down cots in there. It's got a bathroom and a shower. Things that normally you wouldn't have, not unless you had a toter home or a motor home. You can now pull with a truck and be able to have those comforts at the track for a weekend race.
Oh, absolutely. The bath package units have become extremely popular because, in the past you would either, have a full motorhome, full RV, or a full living quarters trailer. But even the folks with full living quarters trailers, you typically have, limited cargo area.
Mhm.
You've got a 48-foot trailer, but you only have a 28-foot race car trailer. The rest is living area. And quite honestly, you've got, kitchenettes and cooktop stoves and things that, just being honest, most of us don't use.
Right.
Um, you're at the racetrack, you roll in Friday, either late Friday night or Saturday morning, you race for the day. And once you're done there, you're finished at the end of the night. You either grab some food or typically cook something outside on the grill. Um, you get a shower, you go to bed, you wake up, and we do it all over again. And then as soon as we're done, as soon as that last wind light either comes on or doesn't, you're packing, putting everything in the trailer as fast as you can to get home.
Yeah, that's very true. I personally like the little weekender. I call them weekender trailers. I don't know if that's the phrase you used or not. And I saw them several years ago from up in Michigan, racers from up there come down with Camaros, and they looked like they were only 28-foot long or 30-foot long tags, and they had just really compact living quarters in them, but had everything they needed. And it was very well organized. And I'm like, I was impressed. That was the first ones I ever saw like that. All the other ones I ever saw, other than that, were like you said, they had living quarters and goosenecks and all that kind of stuff. Way bigger and sometimes very unpractical for what you're using. So it's good that there's options. It's really, really good that there's options out there. But how has business been?
It's really not been bad. I mean, obviously, coming out of the COVID years when everything sold no matter what you did, we've backed off of that some. But while things are a little bit softer than they were, it still has not been a bad year at all. We have a full parts and service department, that stays steady all the time. Um, and the sales has, while they have backed off some, we're still rocking right along. September's even been a great month.
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear.
I got those pictures. I want to flash up real quick before we go any further. But
Sure.
here you are with your junior dragster.
So, yep, that would have been somewhere around 1994, somewhere in that vicinity.
I remember that background from those years. And of course, she was talking about Steve Johnson. Yeah, the old slick
And
50 bike.
there was the picture that more or less started it all.
But it didn't start you on bikes.
It didn't start me on bikes, but it did start me in racing.
Go figure. That's a good picture.
And look how much Blake looks like you.
I know, right? I was thinking that.
Yeah, there's no denying him.
No denying. Oh man, I bet he would like to hear that. He would like to hear and probably see that picture. I think that would really make his day.
Actually, he was the one that had me send it to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good because he's a really nice guy. Mitchell's had the opportunity to speak with him, interview him. Hopefully, in the future, we can get him back on. I can speak to him because I find him an inspiration and encouragement. And the man has got boundless energy.
Oh, he is. He is a whole nother level.
Oh yeah, it's just like crazy.
He is great to interview. Like you said, he's full of energy. He likes to kick ideas. I mean, his brain never stops working on either becoming a better racer himself, becoming a better technician on his motorcycle to improve his program. You're absolutely right, Brian. He is a go-getter and a hard worker. And he's really good about explaining a lot of things with, when they had the monster heads on the motorcycles and all of that. He done a great job of breaking all that down. And that's what we actually talked about on the interview was the monster head that he was running. And he actually had won. I forget what race it was. And, of course, he had to bring the Wally out and show everybody, which I wouldn't have it any other way. But, yeah, he is a great guy. And you can't mention Steve without mentioning Jock. Jock has been with him for years, and he's always there for Steve whenever he needs him.
Oh, absolutely.
Good people for sure. Really good people. Now, Tell me something now. You're involved with is it only Gainesville and South Georgia, or are you involved in advertisement with other tracks?
We do currently South Georgia and Gainesville are the two tracks that we're working with, at this time. We've got, we've got a few different things going on there. We've got, obviously, for the last several years, we've sponsored Super Pro and the Junior Dragster program at Gainesville. That's kind of been an ongoing thing. We are sponsoring the Super Pro and Junior Dragster program at the upcoming Night of Fire as well.
Right.
And then if I don't know if Raul is still in here, but I guess we're going to go ahead and announce that he's got a Night of Fire coming up here at the end of November, and we're actually going to be the main event sponsor for that as well. So we're happy to be a part of both tracks. Obviously, they're both home tracks. It's hard to I love racing at both facilities. We love the people at both facilities, and honestly, most of the racers are the same at both facilities. So it's just it's two different places we get to go see our friends and hang out and race.
Well, if Rayo's still on here, I want to thank him and his crew for everything that they've done at the Division II race. I mean, they worked their butts off when we had rain, trying to get the track back prepped to send us down. So we were in a safe situation, and I want to thank him and his crew for everything that they've done for all of us competitors during that race.
Absolutely. I will say I had there was a time when I had all but given up hope on South Georgia Motorsports Park. It just had gotten where it was just not pleasant to go to. And since the Torres family has come in and anybody they brought with them, it's really starting to feel like home again. It's a facility I've always enjoyed racing at. I was there the very first night SGMP opened. We were there. It was an unbelievable night. I think we had a 30 car bracket race. I think they had 8 pro mods and 10,000 spectators. It was an unbelievable night, at a bracket race. And I've always remembered that, and I've always enjoyed racing there. As time goes on, we've raced all around. We've raced Gainesville, SGMP, Bradenton, Orlando. I mean, all the tracks are always good to go to, but I'm very happy to have somebody that truly cares for the sport, at back in the reins. And while we're giving props, we do have to give Jody a heads up as well. I mean, Gainesville has come a long way since Jody came to town. So between Jody taking over, Gainesville and really helping the program out there, and Raul stepping into SGMP, where we're going to get a really great facility again. They're great folks. They're not bracket racers, so we got to cut them some slack and give them a step to learn. But they are certainly trying hard. And, I think they're going to give us a wonderful facility to race at for years to come.
Well, you look back at Gainesville, usually after the ET series was over, divisional finals, there wasn't really nothing going on at Gainesville except for testing tunes. And she has done a great job of bringing in, now we got the Night of Fire, letting Derek Putnam put on the 352 shootout race. Rob Reynolds coming in with the Fall Brawl. We're going to have the Mini Million. I mean, just the things are starting to stack up. And, I'm always appreciative of her allowing me to live stream the events, to give the opportunity for people who can't make it to come see what's happening at Gainesville and maybe try to draw them in to come up a weekend and race in one of these events. But, she has done a great thing. And, talking about Raul with the camping sites, with the power poles, and trying to do the stuff with the ATVs, and trying to get the whole community involved in that area to be part of something big. They're doing great.
Absolutely.
No, they truly are. And I would say you know, I guess being here on screen, makes my mind go blank occasionally. But when you asked about sponsorship, and the races that we're part of, obviously the Fall Brawl is another one that we headline sponsor, and super happy to be part of. Rob and Tim obviously are working together to put on a race. We sponsored it last year. Had a great time at the event, and and are in our obviously helping out with that event again this year. So we're certainly we're racers. But we also want to help the races out, make sure that the programs are available, and hopefully sell some trailers along the way while we're there.
Right. Well, Chad Kennedy just posted that they're working on an all junior dragster race at Gainesville. So I know your son Blake could be very interested in that and have the opportunity to try to go get another win to add to his total.
Absolutely.
There you go, Blake. Tell me something. I say this jokingly. They don't allow double enters on juniors, do they?
No, but I promise you he would. I promise you he would if you could.
True. The turnaround time, just getting you back up there, would be the difficult part. I know, but
there was one that there was an event we went to. Is they do a Halloween, or in the past they did a Halloween race in Montgomery, and we'd in his 1190 car, we did have him doubled one night, and I told him, I said, when you come off the racetrack, do not unbuckle your helmet, do not do anything. I'm coming to get you.
Right.
So he just pulled off the racetrack, shut the car off. I ran down there in the golf cart, hooked him up, picked the front of the car up, set him on there. He rode in the trailer. He rode on the dolly all the way back to the staging lanes, fired him up and sent him down again.
Did you have to refuel it or just fire it?
No, that car you could just fire it. I mean, there's the little 1190 cars. They sit fuel. I mean, you could probably run a pass on about 2.5 ounces.
Okay.
So we didn't have to worry about it on that one. The 890, 790 car is a little more fuel hungry.
I got you. Now, are you going to have one trailer or a couple trailers on display for these events?
It honestly depends on the event. Some of the single day or weekend events that our normal Gainesville events will usually just do one. Just so we can make sure that kind of just keep us in everybody's thoughts as they see different trailers. But as it comes up to the night of fires and the fall brawl, or I say both night of fire events and the fall brawl, we'll have multiple trailers there.
Okay.
I don't honestly, it always it always varies a little bit based on what inventory is available at the time, and
Right.
what we've got on the ground to bring. But but we will definitely have more than one unit, at those events.
That makes sense. And we encourage everybody, when you go to, I don't know exactly where you park it at Raoul's track at South Georgia, but I'm assuming you park it in the staging lanes like you do at Gainesville, would be my assumption. But I was going to encourage everybody, whenever you come to Gainesville Raceway to go to the stage lanes, you'll see a Flying Bryan trailer on display, an example trailer that if you want that trailer, he'll sell it to you that day and you can drive off with it. But each time I've seen you've typically brought a different example, which I think is good. Everything from a 30-foot to a 24 and bigger, everything in between. So we encourage
Right. I try to bring, honestly, at those events, I try to bring trailers that not everybody's super familiar with. Everybody's familiar with a 28-foot trailer with some cabinets in the front. That doesn't really, doesn't bring a wow factor to it. So, we try to bring the ones that are a little bit different that make folks want to walk over and actually, see what they're about.
I'll tell you what, that one that you had there a couple of races back, like I said, with the bathroom and everything in it, the shower, it had the wow factor, all lit up LEDs. I mean, just a beautiful piece of equipment to haul your car to the track and, hey, sleep in there at night.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a good deal. That's a good. I'm still just. I don't know how you do it. How many people you got working for you?
We're actually all in. There's about 8 of us. It's a family affair. And then some additions. But we have a parts. We've got one guy in parts and service. We've got 3 service technicians. We've got myself. I'm kind of the head fire chief, if you will. I get to run around putting all the fires out, and then then we've got a gentleman in sales, and then actually my mom and my wife are in the kind of accounting, tag and title areas. We're bringing in we're bringing in extras now. But so what we've got a great crew, and we certainly couldn't do it without everybody.
Yeah, I can attest to that, Mitchell. When I called his front desk the other day to try to make contact with him, he picked up. You know what I mean? So man does everything from the front to the back. So that's good to hear, and so he can take care of you. So if anybody once again is looking for a trailer, whether it's you need it for commercial, something small, something big, for racing, anything in between, you can look up FB Trailers, Flying Bryan Trailers. There you go.
Yeah, and I tell you, want to let people know, you just don't sell trailer cargo style trailers. If someone wants an open wheel trailer for the race car, you have them as well. So it's not just about those trailers. You do have.
We even have a trailer that not everyone's familiar with, but it's an all aluminum drop deck trailer that you hit a button and the whole back end of the trailer drops right to the ground. It'll load any low car you want. Within.
Is that the ones that have airbags on?
This one actually rotates the axles.
I've seen pictures of those. They're so cool. They rock back, and then the deck drops.
If you've ever been a little farther back in the pits at Gainesville over the last few months, Rick Smith actually has one.
Yeah, I did.
He got from us.
I didn't know it was yours. I thought it was a really cool trailer. He was parked up about the center last time, just behind about 3 or 4 rows behind the concession stand, and at the last time. But that's a very cool looking trailer, and I like the fact, just like you said, drop deck. You don't need ramps. And
for him, he called me one day and he said, he's because obviously he's an amputee, so he said, I've got to have something with light ramps. I said, Rick, you don't need ramps. I got you covered. You just got to come see me.
And it took care of him. So that's well. I tell you, what's your plans for your future? What's the plans for the future for both the company and your racing, and Blake?
Well, apparently for Blake, it's dinner time. But that's nothing new. And
he's growing.
For the business, obviously we just continue to try to grow. We want to open our customer base as wide as we can. Help as many customers as we can, whether they're racers, contractors, or anything in between. On the racing front, I don't have any necessarily grand hopes. We keep running the races we run as we get a chance to, and obviously the more win lights we can turn on, the better we feel, the better it makes us feel. But we try to hit some of the hit a few bigger bracket races here and there as we can and as we get able. But the main thing is making sure that we can race together. Usually that's how we pick races, is if we can both go, then we go. It's neat. That there's a lot more times that I'll leave mine home and run him than there is times that I'll leave his home and run and go race.
I got you. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's heartwarming. That's something I wish my father was still able to race right now. He goes with me, and I'm so happy my father does go with me. But he just doesn't have any desire to race. He's been there, he's done that, but he still goes. So I'm glad that you're able to race with your son. That's really cool. So are you gonna fix up the other mullis for him whenever he gets to age?
Yeah, that's what he's already talked about it. So he'd move up now if he could.
I'm sure. He's probably got the colors all picked out and everything, right?
Pretty much his colors are pretty much red and black. That's he really, the paint job we share was really was obviously Todd Barton did the paint on both of our cars, but Blake had a lot more input into the design than I did, because it actually started as his paint job. Once we picked up his car, we picked up his car last fall, and I ordered the car, and we designed the paint job together over email with Todd, and then we went and picked his car up. And once we got it home, there was just nothing left to do but make a match. So I had to copy him.
There you go. There you go. And and I don't know, I'm assuming you haven't put the order in yet or found your other car yet. So it was good timing.
Right.
So yeah, that just worked out just fine. You can't ask for better timings. Like, gee whiz.
Not at all.
Well, that's cool.
Since Chad's still listening in, one thing that we've got to do, we've got to get Jody on the podcast. And I think we're going to try to get Sarah Allen on at the same time to help promote the Night of Fire. That's going to be taking place on October the 19th at Gainesville Raceway. So if you're out there listening, want to come out and watch some jet cars and fuel cars and a lot of great bracket racing, as everyone will be running for a Wally, I think, for each individual class. So it's going to be a great night for sure. And Chad is chiming in right here, right now.
Chad, hey, we're relying on you now. Chad, we are absolutely relying on you. I mentioned this to Miss Jody last time, and she did that serious eye roll. And I'm like, okay, we got no control over that. So we're relying on you. And like I said, we'll even have more than just her. And we, but like Raul, Miss Jody needs, I think would be good for her to share what's going off the track and the things behind the scenes to share with the racers. Because just like you said, Brian and Mitchell, I mean, Miss Jody and crew work very hard to do their best to try to put the best foot forward. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mark. Nice. You're right. You're right. Dead Zero Performance and Tony Moore's Carburetors. Quick 32 at Night of Fire. I forgot about that. You're right. We had Mark on here recently to talk about that. So y'all
go ahead and let Mark know. I need your logos and stuff for you. I think I already have Tony's, and of course I have Flying Brian trailer sales. So and you're also sponsoring the Night of Fire as well.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Well, Mark, thank you for reminding us, buddy. Buddy. Hey, buddy, what are the qualifications for that? What are the qualifications? You got to be more precise than just throw something out there like that. I mean, come on now. I mean, if you're going to have a duck race, then I'm leading the duck race, So
Chad said that's known as the turtle race.
No, that would be a slow roller race. Anything 12 seconds and up in the 8th mile can run. Almost 60. Now, buddy, is that leaning on 60 or is that 6-0? You know what I mean? Which one is it? So you can say almost 60 when you're 30, you know what I mean, or 40 or something like that. But anyway, that's a good one right there. I like that.
With Buddy and with Buddy commenting here, it's I gotta at least talk to Buddy for a second, or at least tell a quick story about Buddy.
Yeah.
So, well, really not an embarrassing story, but just kind of a trivia for Buddy back in the day. So Buddy and I have been racing together long enough that, well, before I was 18, if my dad had to work and couldn't make it to a race, Buddy actually had to carry around the paper that he was my legal guardian while we traveled.
What? Okay.
So if anything happened to me, Buddy was in charge.
I didn't know you had legal documentation, man. My dad would just shake hands and give a nod. That means the control was given over. You're riding with them, and all their rules apply. I like that one. That's pretty good.
He said, yes, fun times.
Oh, so Buddy has all the good stories, don't he?
Yeah, we've got to race around quite a bit.
Oh man, we got to talk, Mitchell. We got to talk to Buddy one day. He's like, man, you got to dish some dirt. We got to hear some good stories, because that's something I really would like. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a podcast with just everybody racing. It don't matter who, every walk of life, and just chime in and tell a story, tell a good story, tell a good funny story or something interesting or something like that, and then the next person chime in and oh, that's why you call him kid. Okay. I get okay, buddy. That makes sense. So we know where we know where the hierarchy is right there. So
Yeah, buddy was actually one of the licensed drivers to sign off on my license when I was when I got out of the junior into the big car. And
I was getting ready to ask you that. I was assuming based on what you just said, him and Jimmy, I was assuming would be one of the other people that signed. But anyway.
I honestly don't. Well, the funny story was actually I don't remember who the other one was that signed. I truly don't. But at the time, we had bought it was an older dragster. It was actually a late '70s model dragster. We bought it turnkey, and now Buddy wants to take back my license. But when we didn't know what it would run. It was an old car. It was one of the long, real wide front axle cars. It was real light, and I was just doing what they told me. I was 16 years old, and they said, go to half track, go to 1,000-foot, whatever. Well, Buddy got mad because on my 1,000-foot pass, I went faster than his car, so he had to sign off on my license. That I outran him on my license pass.
Oh, geez. Yes, you would have lots of. Yeah, you're right. Okay, buddy. Okay, we got to start talking to you even more. Okay, so you went quicker on 1,000-foot than he did 1,320. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that would hurt a little bit, but it's so good. It's all good, I'm sure. But I tell you, here's something interesting, Bryan, that Mitchell and I always ask a lot of people. If you had the opportunity to race anything, and it doesn't matter if it's drag racing, circle track, anything, drive anything or race anything, money's no object, what would it be?
I guess I don't really ever think about it. Honestly, driving any car to drive, honestly, I enjoy what we do. Obviously, the faster we can go, the better. But I mean, I'm not going to say that making a lap in a 610 top dragster wouldn't be a fun ride. I don't really have a strong desire to get in a fuel car or anything like that. It's just that's not really me.
Right.
But I mean, obviously going, making a 230-mile-an-hour lick in a top dragster would be fun. But one of the if I was going to say a race I would like to attend, years ago I did get to race the original Million, but I really would like to go to the Spring Fling Million in Vegas. I think that would be a fun one to go to, just as a say we got to do it deal.
Okay. I wonder if Tony's not out there. Where's Tony at? Tony.
He's at the Spring. He's at the Fling in Bristol.
Bristol. That's it, Bristol. Because he's been doing a tour, and he's been posting everywhere he's been going. It's like I can't keep track anymore, and so it must be nice. So okay, so you'd like to go out there to the Fling and run a top dragster, a 610 top dragster. So I don't even want to ask Blake, because he'll probably say what you don't want to hear. You want to run with Josh Hart or something like that. Run with
right.
Him.
Hey, here's Tony right here.
There's Tony.
Yep. You see, you had it right there, Bryan. Tony, we've been following you, buddy. You've had some real nail biters, but you've been doing great, man. Hope you enjoy your racing and stay safe, and hope all the electricity goes your way, if you know what we mean. And
I want to give a little quick update. I know, this is about, our sport, racing and everything, but the Weather Center's got a new update. The max winds are now at 130 miles an hour. It is a Cat 4, and it looks like it has moved east a little bit from Tallahassee, from landing there. So it looks like it's probably going to be pretty close to Perry, and that track will take it straight on up toward Valdosta, Adel, and Cecil. So Raul, if you're still on, we're going to keep you in our prayers and hope everything goes okay at the track, and y'all don't have any bad damage from the storm, because by the time it reaches y'all, it will still be a Cat 2. So,
oof. Yeah, because I'm not looking forward to it. I got storm duty tomorrow morning at 6. I got a report over here in the south side of town, and got to do whatever we're told. So not looking forward to that. So everybody everybody I know is batting down and holding on and hanging on. But everybody look out for each other and stay safe. But I tell you, Bryan, I really appreciate we really appreciate you coming on and taking the time out of your busy schedule, and with last one, then back home. Got you. Yeah, well, safe travels, Tony. Wish you all the best, and then safe travels.
definitely.
And but like I was saying, Bryan, we appreciate you coming on, and we know you had a very busy day today, trying to get the house straight, get the work straight, take care of the family, get everything straight with this weather that we're just now starting to experience. But we also want to say thank you for the advertisement and the partnership that you do with Gainesville Raceway and South Georgia Motorsports Park, and with different races and stuff like that. And we encourage, once again, anybody that hears this is looking for a trailer or parts for a trailer, and it doesn't matter what, to look up Flying Bryan Trailer Sales, and he can definitely take care of you, no matter what your needs are. So we encourage everybody to do that, and I tell you, and I also appreciate Blake joining us.
Yes.
That's cool. Blake, buddy, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us. And we also want to congratulate you on a great year this year. I mean, with your wins, and then last year with your race of champions and everything, doing excellent. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Yeah, keep it up.
Yep, absolutely, keep it up. And we want y'all, whenever you have any updates that you would like to share, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to share. We want to, that's something we want to continue to do, is encourage and promote and everything. So Blake, also like to put a camera on your car, buddy, a GoPro. I'd like to put a camera on your car during a time run, of course. I'm not gonna harass you during eliminations or something like that. But if you get an opportunity or something like that, you got a fun run or something like that, I'd like to put a camera on there, and so everybody can experience a little bit of the fun that you have. And
Sure. Anytime you want, we'll hook it up.
All right, that's definitely sounds good, because I like doing that. I like taking videos and trying to show and express a little bit of just the fun that racers have of all matters. As a matter of fact, I got to get with Jeremy and put one on his bike, but my schedule's been a little hectic on Fireball's bike, so that would be a good one. But once again, we wanted to tell you, Bryan, and buddy, we want to tell you thank you very much for coming on and joining us tonight.
Oh, thank y'all. We enjoyed it. It's fun to get on here and talk about things you don't always think about.
That's true. And yeah, I had notes and stuff, but I pretty much threw them away. It's like, it's like going, you know what I mean? But really, Mitchell and I, we appreciate the time, and we thank you very much. And Blake, man, now you can go and get dinner. And you probably never pestering Daddy going, come on. And but anyway, we wanted to tell y'all thank you very much, and we do appreciate it once again.
Sure do. Thank y'all again.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you now, and I hope y'all have a great.
Yeah, really.
Y'all stay safe.
Definitely.
All right, take care.
Y'all too.
See you now.
All right. Tell you what a great interview, and even getting Blake on there, talk a little bit about the junior dragsters and how it is for him to be able to race with his dad, and his dad the same thing, race with his son. Just creates a great bond, I think, between father and son to have the same interest. But we really do appreciate them coming on. Hey, do you want to tell us about our guest that's going to be coming on the 10th of October?
Oh, yes. We talked to Jason of Blueprint Engines. Okay. And he's actually coming on next in 2 weeks. he's got some pretty good, exciting news about Blueprint stuff. I never realized. I've always kept up with Blueprint, and I knew they were. I always thought as an engine remanufacturer, but they're not. They're a performance manufacturing company. Okay, they produce new products. Okay, they dyno test every engine. They come with warranties, and different genres, meaning small block Chevrolet, big block Chevrolet, small block Chryslers, third gen Chryslers, LS motors, and they are now getting ready to start a brand new high performance line. They always had a performance line, but a high performance line, which I'm going to let him share. I'm not going to, I've told Mitchell a little bit behind the scenes, and it's really good opportunity for people. And it's not only for the car enthusiasts, the hot rodder and stuff like that. It is for the racer, dirt track racer, oval track racer, drag racer, high performance street racer. They have many different combinations, a lot more than I realized. And it's all done here in the States, and it's in Nebraska. And thank you, Chad. We appreciate it, buddy. And like I said, I got storm duty 6 o'clock in the morning. I was told right before we come on that I got to report to that, and I don't want to. But none of us wants this here. So all of our friends and family that's out west of us and southwest, towards Tampa, Bradenton, everything in between, and going up into Georgia. We got a lot of buddies up in Georgia and stuff like that. I want everybody to stay safe.
Yeah, the real sad thing about this storm is the storm surge that they're going to get from Cedar Key all the way around to Apalachicola, which just around Stemahatchee, they're saying there's possibility storm surge is going to be 20 feet. And that a lot of people are going to lose their homes. Just a real sad situation. But, unfortunately, we live in a beautiful place called Florida, and we have to deal with these things year in, year out. It's just part of Mother Nature that we have to go through. But, yeah, we're definitely going to keep everyone in our prayers and hope everyone stays safe. Houses and cars and stuff like that of that nature, they can be replaced, but human life cannot. And
I agree.
We have to worry about is human life through this.
Everybody look out for each other, not only yourself and your family, but look out for your neighbors and look out for people around you. You don't have to know them to help. If someone needs help them. And speaking on the power side, look, if you see lines down, stay away.
Don't touch.
Okay, yeah, don't touch. Assume they're energized. Okay, so that's just a little PSA there for everybody. And here's another thing. Leave your front porch light on. Leave it on day and night. Leave it on as long as there is a storm out there. And as long as your city's in a storm warning or storm watch, however you call it, leave your front porch light on. That helps power companies know if there's power on your street. If your house is safe, but you're out of power, they don't know if you have power unless they see some visual. Okay. Of course, there's different systems, different ways. We can get all into that. But just a very simple thing. Leave your front porch light on. Yeah. Amber, you're right. You're right. And as far as FEMA, I think anywhere from Cedar Keys north, that's where it's going to be. Because Cedar's going to be gone. I love Cedar Key. It's such a quiet little fish town. But boy, that place is going to be. It's going to be a lake. It's just going to be a big lake. Even the little airport's going to be covered. But as long as everybody's safe and out of there, that's all that matters. But yeah. So. We appreciate everybody coming on tonight, and we want to again thank everybody for following On the Spot Motorsports Media. Mitchell works very hard to put out articles and to make sure we keep flyers up to date from different races and different things like that. And the live feed, he works very hard on that. So we ask you to please keep sharing, keep subscribing, sharing, encouraging it. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe there and follow also on the Spot Motorsports Media. And also support people that support racers. Support, support Flying Brian trailer sales. Support Scorpion Racing products. Support Redline Racing Oils. Support FTI Transmission and Converters. Just Mickey Thompson Tires, just to name a few. Okay.
Well, if you go to a track and you're in winner's circle, look up on that board and try to support those businesses that help support your track.
Exactly.
So they're very important.
Support Dead Zero Performance. Support GRE Signs. Okay. I mean, support Tony Moore's Carburetors.
Rollins Automotive.
Okay. And there's others. Okay. But definitely support those that support racers. Both at for example, both at Gainesville and South Georgia, but it doesn't matter where. Orlando, Bradenton, Darlington, Rockingham, Bowling Green, Shadyside. It doesn't matter where, but support and go out. I mean, if you don't have a car, still go watch. Go watch racing near you. You know what I mean? Back a driver up. You know what I mean? Just sweep, but get involved. It helps. It helps all the tracks. It helps all the communities. It just helps, and you'll have fun too.
Oh yeah, take the whole family and have a fun-filled day of it.
Exactly. And like I said, by the end of it, you'll end up with family. Extended.
And before we go, Robert, there's one thing I want to mention. One of our sponsors, Redline Oil, they are going to be the official oil of the Drag Illustrated winter series that they're going to be holding at Bradenton Motorsports Park. So I wrote an article, and that will be being posted either tonight or in the morning. But a great partnership, being developed there with Mark Beatty and Wes Buck. Redline Synthetic Oil has already been a sponsor of the World Series of Pro Mod.
Right.
And now they are extending it for this winter series that's going to be going on. So a great thing for both Redline and for Drag Illustrated for their winter series that will begin in December. So looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get down there to one of those races. And I want to say the total prize money for just the Pro Mod class by itself, the total is like $300,000 up for grabs when it's all put together. So that's a nice chunk of money for someone to win. Just in the Pro Mod class.
Right. And
there will be other classes, and I've reached out to Wes Buck, and I'm hoping we can get him on the show and do a breakdown of all the different classes and how they were doing it. Are they doing it by invite only like they do some of their other stuff? So it's, I'm really interested to find out what's going to be happening down there at Bradenton Motorsports Park with that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's great to hear. Well, the 300,000 is obviously great to hear, but Redline coming on board of advertising marketing partner with them is really great to hear. So that's good to help the racers and the event. That's really, really good. And so, like I said, I mean, there's a lot going on at Gainesville, for example, the 352 shootout, the Night of Fire, the Mini Million, the Fall Brawl. There's going to be other events coming up, and then you got the Halloween Massacre going on at Southeast Georgia. They're going to have a Night of Fire also. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of events going on in between just at these two tracks alone. So there's somewhere for you to race. So that's a good thing. Now we just need enough people to have just a foot brake only race like like they do in Tennessee, and now they're doing it I think in Piedmont this year. Maybe they can have a southern one either at South Georgia or at Gainesville.
Hey, maybe in a couple of years, Robert, we can put something on like that.
Whew.
Never know.
Yeah, you never know. In theory, that's fantastic, but actually putting pen to pad, rubber to the road, that's a headache, brother. I don't know if I want to take on.
It's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work. I got nothing but respect for Rob and Tim and everybody else, and Jared and all them, and Steve and all that put on these races and do an excellent job. So
we'll just talk to Jared and tell him that he needs to do one in Gainesville.
We talked about that, and he kind of chuckled, and they would love to do anything like that if the support was there.
Yeah, definitely.
Which makes sense. But anyway, everybody, we know we've gone on a little bit, but we appreciate everybody out there. We enjoy what we're doing, but we really do appreciate everybody's support.
Yep. And hopefully next week maybe we can get Jody and Sarah Allen on and talk about this Night of Fire that's going to be coming up on October the 19th, which I think is really cool because it's the next day after the banquet for the champions at Gainesville. So really looking forward to both the banquet and live streaming the Night of Fire. And don't forget, the jet cars will be there. So it's going to be a fun time for the kids for sure.
Absolutely. So, be worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But everybody from Mitchell and I here at OTS, we sure appreciate everybody. And we want everybody just to stay safe.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Yeah, man, just pushed it over.